Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Jurassic Zoological Garden in Jurassic World Evolution 3, and today we are going to build a realistic habitat for the Styracosaurus. So let's get started. It has actually been quite a while since I have been building in Jurassic World Evolution 3, and I look at my channel and I realize that it's already been around 5 months of not posting anything about this, and I knew it has been a while, but I didn't realize that it has been almost half a year of not posting. And I have to say, after almost half year of not playing this game, it has been a little bit tricky for me to build something, especially because I'm still not super clear with all of the pieces that we have in this game, since it's so many. And these are fantastic pieces, but not playing for so long, and even beforehand I was not playing super much of this game, so I was struggling a bit, and this habitat will also be a little bit more on the simpler side, I would say, but nevertheless it is a beautiful habitat. And since the Styracosaurus is more of like a herding animal, so I was thinking about different herding animals that we have in modern zoos at the moment, for example a bison. So I was kind of comparing the dinosaur to a bison, and I feel like with such big herding animals, the habitats in nowadays zoos are not super crazy, nothing like really special about them. So I also thought that it would be fine to keep the habitat relatively simple, and also to kind of start this game again for me, so I didn't want to like overdo it, and it did feel really good to play this now and also to build this habitat. Even though it is really simple, I really love this habitat, and you guys voted 5 months ago to get a video about the Styracosaurus, and back then I was actually building something, and I also planned to mix the habitat with a different herbivore, but I really did not like the finished result, and after that I kind of stopped playing the game. I don't know what it is, but every time I build something and I'm not satisfied with it, I almost get like a little crash and I can't build anything, because the first idea didn't play out too well, and then it's really hard for me to start something else, to completely rip it apart and do something different. So that's why it took me a while, but I am really happy with the result right now. I was looking a couple of videos from other creators on YouTube about Jurassic World Evolution 3, and this really gave me again some motivation. And since this habitat also went by quite fast, I think it only took me around 2 hours to build everything. This really helped me get started to come back to this game. And since it's also been the first time for me playing with the new Wetlands DLC, I also wanted to use a couple of pieces. So you'll see me using all of the wood pieces from the new DLC here in this like viewing platform, or like a terrace it's going to be. I also took inspiration for this terrace from Caesar's video about the Dinochirus, which I really loved, and so the terrace will look somewhat similar, but I try to not copy too much. And for the base, I again use these metal pieces that I already used in my latest video about the Dimetrodon, where I also built this restaurant with the terrace, and I kind of copied this since this habitat is also very close to the Dimetrodons and more or less in the same style, because I decided to make a habitat that is a little bit swampy but also a forest. And I read about the Styracosaurus that it's basically two of these biomes really fit this dinosaur, so I really wanted to combine both of them, since with the Dimetrodon we started kind of like a wetter or swampier area of the zoo, and I felt like this would also fit really well with the Styracosaurus. For both of the viewing areas, I made sure that they are raised high enough so that the animals are not getting too close to the like fence of the terrace, but at the same time I also wanted to make sure that the animals can get super close to the terrace, so that the guests that are standing directly at the barrier really feel like they are getting super close to the animals. And I really like this. And I also used two of these terraces, and I really wanted to have two viewing points, one towards the swampy area and one towards the foresty area. And I also made sure that from both of these viewing sections, they are not able to see the guests from the other viewing sections, since this is like a rule in zoos that you're not supposed to see other visitors of the zoo. So I really try to make this fit as well as possible. From the terrace on the swampy side to the second terrace, there will be like a path that you'll see a little bit later, where the guests will be able to see a little bit through the fencing, through a couple of like trees and bushes, and they will be almost like a little peeking hole where they can see a little bit of the habitat and of the dinosaurs. And from there you can see a little bit of the terrace, but I don't really mind too well, since it's not like an actual viewing point. And for this habitat I also didn't want to make a stone back wall, as I was doing in my first attempt of this habitat, because I did not really like it that much, especially since it looked just a little bit off. And so I decided to make like an open back wall or back fence, and I decided to make also a different habitat that will go on the back side of this one. And in between both of the habitats there will be the staff facility or the backstage area for the animals. And I will not be building too much and no interior of the backstage area, but I still want to imply that there is something, since I am building more on like a realistic zoo type of way that houses dinosaurs. So I'm doing like a mix of Jurassic Park and a actual zoo, and I try to find like a middle way where both of these fit. So there will be like this little gap between both of the habitats, where the facility will be where the staff can prep food and go into the habitat, or where the animals or dinosaurs can go into the backstage area. And in between there will also be like a pathing and a little bit of foliage. And right now the background for this habitat is not super lush, but I think this will get better once we also have the second habitat back there, since there will also be more foliage then to kind of make the whole background complete. And with that you won't really see that there's just a fence, and it will still look lush and like a real background. The foresty area of this habitat was heavily inspired by the latest documentary on Netflix about dinosaurs. If you haven't seen this yet, I can definitely suggest that. It's nothing too crazy. It's still like a dinosaur documentary. Like, it's nothing completely new or innovative, but still I feel like it showed things differently than other documentaries that I've seen, and I really like that. And there was one scene or one shot where there were like herbivores in a forest, where there were like low shrubs and ferns and stuff, and then these big trees, these pine trees, or like sort of like redwood trees. And I really liked this shot, and I wanted to kind of recreate this, so I went for this like relatively dense redwood forest in here, so that the animals can go in between. There will be like only the lower shrubs, and then in between the dinosaurs walking through the trees. And I really like this shot in the documentary, and I also like it when the dinosaurs in this habitat are walking in between those trees. It really feels like they are walking through a ginormous forest, and I feel like this really came out super well. And I also think it somewhat fits next to this like a swampy area. I know the swampy area is not too big in this habitat, but enough to imply this like swampiness. I feel like too much would also have been looked maybe a little bit too off. I don't know, maybe the Styracosaurus is not like the most perfect animal for a swampy area, but I feel like just a little bit to imply also that it fits into this swampy and wetter area in the zoo. I think it's just perfect, and I really like the result, how it came out. It's relatively simple, but I still like it for this type of dinosaur or for this exact species. And I also use a lot of the like foliage brushes. I didn't really use too much like singular foliage pieces. I also almost forgot to add any rocks. That's when I knew like, okay, I've been playing this game not so much, so I took a while to like get back into this flow of building and the creativity and using all of the different pieces. And I feel like this habitat is also a good start back into this game. And I feel like the next habitats can definitely be a bit more detailed, a bit more fancier. So I will see what the next habitat will be. I don't know exactly, but it will definitely be also in this like swampier area. So I was also thinking about the Dinocarius or something like that. Maybe even a carnivore, but I'm not super sure. But I will see. And maybe you can also let me know down in the comments what animal you would love to see next in this area. You can now also see me building this like a backstage area building or holding facility. I wanted to keep it really simple, and you can see it from the like viewing points, but it's not like super visible. So I didn't put like too much effort into this building, since it's really just a background building and just for the sake of the realism. So there's nothing too crazy. Also no really like any decorations. I just make sure that there's an entrance for the stuff and that there's two entrances for the animals, that in case of one of the animals would be like separated, they can also be placed in a second holding pen. That's why I decided to make 2 doors, and other than that there's nothing too crazy. I just made sure to put some like climbing ivy on it, so it looks a bit overgrown and also almost blends into the background and into the foliage, so it's not too visible. And in the very end I only made a couple of like final details, like on the pathing, and next to the pathing like a little bit of foliage, but again nothing too crazy. I really wanted to keep it relatively simple yet somewhat realistic. Also the other side of the path, that it's not towards the habitat, is absolutely not decorated at all. I only placed down a little bit of some foliage brushes so it does not look too empty, but since I also don't really know what I'm placing there, I kept it really simple and open, and I will see where this journey takes us for the zoo. And we are almost at the very end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and that you liked the way I designed this habitat. Let me know in the comments what you think and what the next habitat should be. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos from Jurassic World Evolution 3. You will now see the finished result in the cinematic shots, and I'm already saying my goodbyes, so I hope to see you in the next episode. Until then, bye guys!